All right. Okay. So what about those laws, the Idaho laws, that are not locked up in legal limbo? Next week, July 1st, is the new fiscal year. And it's also the day hundreds of new laws will become enforceable in Idaho. Obviously, we aren't going to talk about every single one of those, but Aspen Schumpert here to break down three of the big ones that we have followed through the legislative session up until this point. Aspen?
Yeah, Brian, more than 300 bills were signed into law by Governor Brad Little, and majority of those will go into effect in just a few days, except for those that went into effect due to emergency clauses earlier in the year. One law coming Monday involves the use of pronouns. House Bill 538 makes it so that a government entity cannot tell a public employee to call a person by a pronoun contrary to their biological pronouns. Representative Julian Young says what this means is that teachers in particular can't be forced into using pronouns they don't agree with.
There's nothing in there that requires anyone to do anything different, and it doesn't prohibit anything. It just says if you're an employee, you can't be coerced into speaking things contrary to your conscience.
So, if a student goes by he, him, but is biologically female, the teacher can still call the student she, her. Scott Graff, the communications director for the Idaho Department of Education, told us in a statement yesterday it will be up to individual schools in Idaho to implement policies in accordance to this law, and that will vary from district to district. The second notable law involves libraries. House Bill 710, the Children's School and Library Protection Act, changes what kids are allowed to see and read in libraries, meaning no references to nudity, sexual conduct, or sexual excitement.
We have a state issue and we now have to step in and solve it for the whole state, as opposed to it just being a one-off library issue. It's pretty prominent.
All those types of books or materials need to be put in a separate room. The bill does give parents the option to file a complaint with a library about a book in the kids section they find inappropriate. And the library has 60 days to move it. If they don't, people can sue the library for $250 and other damages. One Donnelly library doesn't have a separate room to put these books and materials in and made the choice to transition to an adult-only library. Then there's House Bill 406, which will make minimum sentences mandatory for fentanyl dealers who knowingly manufacture, deliver, or possess 4 or more grams of various fentanyl-related substances. That would mean a mandatory minimum prison sentence of 3 to 10 years. The more of the drug involved, the longer the sentence.
We've already waited a year and lost Idahoans to this deadly drug. We need to act today.
To put fentanyl up on the same level, at least on the same level with heroin, I couldn't be happier to vote for this.
The law also creates the crime of drug-induced homicide for someone who gives that controlled substance to someone who ends up dying as a result of taking it. That penalty will be life imprisonment. Idaho already has mandatory minimum sentences in place for marijuana, methamphetamine, heroin, and cocaine. So starting Monday, fentanyl will be added to that list. Brian?
That was one of those bills that was kind of controversial when it was kind of making its way through the State House. A lot of people who you think would be for it were standing up and saying, hold on a second, this may not work. So I guess we'll see how it works once it goes into effect starting Monday.
Yeah, that's right.
Thanks, Aspen.